All right. Also last week, cohort number 7 is in the books for the enterprise, the ESPA program. So I wanted to just quickly throw up my highlights from an event overview perspective. There was 18 organizations. We had great diversity from Ghana, Sweden, Kazakhstan, with remote participants from Korea and Indonesia. It was also great to see a female operated SP within the ranks. Great to see someone taking on that. We had bigger players such as Cox Edge, NTT, and ZenLayer in attendance. We had a great contingency from Protocol Labs technical team, which included Magic Cake, Scott Connor, Matt Hamilton, Vuk, and John Sykerbuk, who attended. I thought David had a chance to present the Telnyx S3 demo, which showcased his new AI capabilities, which was pretty slick if you hadn't seen it. Telnyx's S3 API is set for GA next month, so just within a couple weeks. The business development sections held by Alice and Mara were packed. And I think that's just a testament to the sea change that I felt like this ESPA represented. And then once again, we had just a lot of ESPA alumni showcasing that there's continued value in showing up to ESPA, as well as continuing education. Stu, I see you on the call. I got you quoted at the top. I did my best to paraphrase you accurately. What was your impressions of this last ESPA?
Yeah, I think it was another milestone for us. Again, as we shift more toward earning revenue by selling space storage and not focusing on block rewards. I think we had some great sessions on the tokenomics. Stanko did a great job, I thought. A lot of tough questions, obviously, around ROI and kind of the future, even though none of us can predict what the future holds. But great conversations. It was great to see such great representation on the part of PL, especially the Lotus team really knocked out of the park. Jimmy Lee was there from Out-of-Core Dev, which I thought was great. And we're really looking forward to the next joint, what is it, FIL-Vegas plus ESPA. So I'm really excited about that. I think we just continue building on our success.
Awesome. Now I want to get to what I thought was my takeaway moment from ESPA, and I'm gonna quote a little Ted Lasso before I go into it, and that's "Be curious, not judgmental." One of my favorite scenes in the series, if you are aware of it. And what happened was, I see David on the call, but I thought David had a bit of a mic drop moment when he gave his presentation, where he said, and David, if I've misquoted you, you can please feel free to correct me, but my takeaway was you've sealed 1 PIB raw of client data without the use of FIL Plus, and we're not going back. Our business model does not require it. And this isn't, to me, and when I say be curious, not judgmental, is, you can leave the FIL Plus discussion out of this. And as I attempted to paraphrase why I thought Telnyx had made this decision and why others are considering this decision, whether they were ESPA attendees, just starting their storage provider journey, or some of the more tenured storage providers that have been in the ecosystem for multiple years. This was the 5 bullets that I thought was the rationalization behind that move. But again, I look back to where we were just 6 months ago, where I remember we had Angelo on the SPWG presenting on why charge for storage. And if I were to reflect back on the reactions I got from this group at the time, it was like, yeah, we understand that's the inevitable outcome, but we're not here yet. And through the course of unforeseen economic activity, fear does the work of reason. And now it's just so fascinating to me to see that Telnyx has a sustainable business model without the requirement of block rewards or the friction that FIL Plus creates. So David, I see you on the call. how did I do on capturing your quote and the 5 points?
All right, I think you did well. I think the most important thing for us is we're increasingly starting to see our participation in the Filecoin network, at least for the time being, as a cost center rather than a revenue center. And the benefit that we get from essentially sealing sectors is that we can prove to our customers that we actually have their data regularly and consistently. And so that's something that we think is important based on what we've seen from or heard from customers, and we're willing to do it. And obviously it's supportive of the Filecoin ecosystem. I think it's just not, for us, it's just not worth the risk of declining rewards and 10x collateral and sort of how those inverse, that reverse relationship, the sort of impact it can have in terms of additional risk down the line.
Yeah, and that's why I go back to be curious, not judgmental. There's a lot, the whole point of this is there's a lot of ways you can participate in Filecoin. I think it's, our goal during these calls is to entice you to be curious, to see all different paths available to you, and so you can have the information you need to make the decision that's right for your organization. That's why I bring it up. All right, as Stu mentioned, the next ESPA cohort is going to be a much larger event. We are turning it into our first North America FIL event since Austin, which happened in April 2022. This is going to be a FIL event geared towards storage providers, where we're going to do our best to attract the 2 types of attendees we've heard from the community that they want most to see, which are investors and clients. So we have this theme of data integrity in the era of AI that we're using to recruit our speaker and our overall event design. So what it's going to look like on October the 4th, there's going to be a main stage day. On the 3rd and the 5th, there will be a series of workshops, all done at the Park MGM. We have our first confirmed keynote speaker, Mark Yusko, CEO of Morgan Creek. If you don't know Morgan Creek, I highly suggest you do some Googling. They're raising their 3rd digital infrastructure fund. They've already invested in Filecoin. And this is the type of investor that I think works extremely well for the Filecoin ecosystem. We're also working on multi-coin and getting some leaders from AI and other parts of the Filecoin ecosystem to really just make this a big splash event for North America, given that we haven't done a FIL event in the country in so long. If you have ideas on this topic or clients that you want to showcase or work that you want to showcase, please let me know. And as always, this event is designed to be your event. So let's invite your investors, invite your clients, invite your leads, invite your partners. We can create opportunities for you to make this your event as well. So those are, nothing can happen unless you open up a conversation and we can begin seeing what the art of the possible is. But the more you guys bring your stakeholders to the table for this event, I think overall the better experience it will be for everyone. But I am pumped for some FIL-Vegas.